Dr. Sarah Chen yawned as she stared at the computer screen. It was another quiet night at the Big Ear Radio Observatory. The huge dish outside listened to the stars, hoping to catch a whisper from the cosmos. Sarah had worked here for 5 years, and every night was the same. Just endless data, with nothing exciting. She reached for her coffee mug, only to find it empty. With a sigh, she stood up to get a refill. That's when it happened. A sharp beep cut through the silence. Sarah froze. Her eyes darted to the main monitor. A new signal was coming in, stronger than anything she had seen before. "No way," she whispered. Her heart began to race. Could this be it? The moment every SETI researcher dreamed of. Sarah's fingers flew over the keyboard. She had to make sure this wasn't a mistake. But as she ran test after test, the truth became clear. This was no error. No satellite or Earth-based transmitter could produce this signal. It was coming from deep space. Holy cow, Sarah breathed. She picked up the phone with shaking hands. "Dr. Morrison, you need to get down here. Now." Within an hour, the observatory was buzzing with activity. Scientists huddled around computers, talking excitedly. Dr. Morrison, the head of the project, stood in the center of it all. His usual calm was gone, replaced by barely contained excitement. "People, let's focus," he said. "We need to decode this message. The whole world will be watching us. Let's not let them down." For 3 days, the team worked nonstop. They barely slept or ate. The message was complex, unlike anything they had seen before. But bit by bit, they began to understand. On the 4th day, Dr. Morrison called a meeting. The room was tense as he stood up to speak. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, his voice solemn, "we have made first contact with an alien civilization." A murmur ran through the room. Even though they all knew it, hearing it said out loud made it real. But Dr. Morrison continued, "The content of the message is unexpected." He nodded to Sarah, who pressed a button on her laptop. A series of symbols appeared on the big screen. Then, below them, the translation. "Senti life, stay away from Earth. Warning for your own good." The room fell silent. Sarah looked around, seeing her own confusion mirrored on her colleagues' faces. "What does it mean?" someone finally asked. Dr. Morrison shook his head. "We don't know, but it's clear that whoever sent this knows about Earth, and for some reason they want to keep others away from it." "Could it be a threat?" another scientist asked. "Possibly," Dr. Morrison admitted, "or it could be a genuine warning. Either way, we need to inform the authorities immediately." As the team debated their next move, Sarah sat quietly, her mind racing. She had always dreamed of this moment, of being part of the team that made first contact. But she had never imagined it would be like this. A warning about Earth. What could be so special or dangerous about their home planet that an advanced alien civilization would send such a message? Outside the observatory, the huge dish continued its silent watch of the sky. But now its purpose had changed. It was no longer searching for a signal. Instead, it listened for more messages, more clues to the greatest mystery humanity had ever faced. As news of the message spread, the world held its breath. Governments called emergency meetings. Religious leaders sought meaning in ancient texts. Ordinary people looked up at the stars with new eyes, wondering what secrets the universe held. And in a small observatory, a team of scientists worked tirelessly, trying to unravel the puzzle they had been given. They knew that their discovery would change the course of human history, but none of them could have guessed just how profound that change would be. The message from the stars had opened a door, and on the other side lay a future beyond anything they had ever imagined. A future where humanity would have to prove itself on a cosmic stage. The warning had been given. Now, it was up to Earth to decide what to do next. The news spread like wildfire. Within hours of the official announcement, every TV channel, radio station, and website was talking about the alien message. People all over the world were glued to their screens, hungry for more information. In New York City, Times Square was packed. Thousands of people stood still, their faces turned up to the giant screens. The usual ads were gone, replaced by news broadcasts about the message. "This is not a joke," a stern-faced news anchor said. "I repeat, this is not a joke. We have received a message from an alien civilization." In the crowd, a young woman named Maria grabbed her friend's arm. "Can you believe it?" she said, her eyes wide. "We're not alone." Her friend nodded, but looked worried. "Yeah, but why are they warning us to stay away from Earth? What's wrong with our planet?" This question was echoed in homes, offices, and streets around the world. People everywhere tried to make sense of the strange warning. In Tokyo, a group of students gathered in a small apartment. They had been up all night discussing the news. "Maybe Earth is dangerous," one boy said. "Like maybe we have something that could hurt aliens." His friend shook his head. "Or maybe they're trying to protect us. What if space is more dangerous than we think?" As people speculated, world leaders scrambled to respond. In Washington, D.C., the president called an emergency meeting. The Oval Office was tense as advisors argued about what to do. "We need to respond to this message," the Secretary of State said. "Show them we're peaceful." The Secretary of Defense disagreed. "We don't know if they're friendly. We should be preparing our defenses, just in case." The president listened silently, his face grave. The weight of the world rested on his shoulders. Whatever he decided would shape the future of humanity. Meanwhile, in a small town in India, a group of farmers gathered around the only TV in the village. They watched in awe as scientists explained the message. "Look at how big the universe is," one old man said, pointing at a diagram on the screen. "And yet, they know about our little Earth. Why?" His grandson, a bright boy named Ravi, had an idea. "Maybe Earth is special," he said. "Maybe we have something no one else has." This idea was catching on around the world. Scientists began to look at Earth with new eyes, wondering what made their home planet unique. In a lab in Brazil, Dr. Carla Oliveira studied data about Earth's core. "There's something odd here," she muttered, frowning at her computer. "These readings don't match any other planet we know." Across the globe in Australia, a team of geologists made a startling discovery. They found strange crystals deep in a cave, unlike anything they had seen before. These crystals, they seemed to be absorbing energy from somewhere, one scientist said, his voice filled with excitement and fear. As new discoveries piled up, the public's mood began to shift. The initial fear and confusion were giving way to curiosity and determination. In London, a group of teenagers started a social media campaign. #ExploreAnyway began trending worldwide. "If aliens tell us to stay home, that's when we need to go out," their posts said. But not everyone agreed. Religious leaders called for caution, saying the message might be a test or a divine warning. Some people began preparing for the worst, stocking up on supplies and building shelters. The debates raged on TV, online, and in the streets. Everyone had an opinion, a theory, or a plan. Through it all, the stars continued to shine down on Earth. Somewhere out there, the beings who sent the message were waiting. Would humanity listen to their warning? Or would curiosity and courage push them to explore anyway? As the world argued and wondered, one thing became clear: nothing would ever be the same again. Humanity stood at a crossroads, facing the biggest decision in its history, and the clock was ticking. Dr. Emily Zhao rubbed her tired eyes. For weeks, she and her small team had been working nonstop in their underground lab. They were part of a secret international group, tasked with finding out what made Earth special. "Guys, come look at this," called out Dr. Raj Patel, his voice echoing in the large room. The team gathered around his computer screen. "I've been comparing Earth's core to other planets," Raj explained. "Look at these energy readings. They're off the charts." Emily leaned in, her eyes widening. "That's impossible," she whispered. But the data was clear. Earth's core was producing energy in a way they had never seen before. Meanwhile, in a remote area of the Amazon rainforest, Dr. Maria Sanchez and her team were making their own discovery. They had found strange plants that seemed to glow in the dark. These plants are absorbing energy from the Earth itself, Maria said, her voice filled with awe. It's like they're connected to some kind of planetary power grid. Back in the lab, Emily's team was piecing together the puzzle. They had gathered data from scientists all over the world. Strange crystals in Australia, unusual magnetic fields in Siberia, unexplained energy surges in the Mariana Trench. It's all connected, Emily said, her hands shaking with excitement. Earth isn't just a planet. It's alive. The team fell silent, trying to grasp the enormity of what they had discovered. Earth wasn't just their home. It was a living, breathing entity, pulsing with an energy they were only beginning to understand. This must be why the aliens warned others to stay away, Raj said. Earth is unique in the universe, and we're part of it. As the team discussed their findings, they began to realize the implications. This energy, this life force of Earth, it wasn't just in the planet. It was in them too. Think about it, Emily said, pacing the room. Humans have always pushed boundaries. We've survived in every environment, created amazing technologies. What if it's because we're connected to Earth's energy? The idea was mind-blowing. Humans weren't just inhabitants of Earth. They were an extension of it, carrying a piece of the planet's unique power within them. But with this realization came a chilling thought. Dr. Lisa Chen, the team's biologist, voiced what they were all thinking. If we have this power, others might want it. The alien warning might not have been to protect other species from Earth. It might have been to protect Earth from them. Raj finished, his face pale. The team looked at each other, the weight of their discovery settling on their shoulders. They had unlocked the secret of Earth, but in doing so, they had also uncovered a potential threat to their very existence. Emily took a deep breath. We need to tell the world leaders, but we have to be careful. This knowledge, it could be dangerous in the wrong hands. As the team prepared their report, they couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and fear. They had answered the question of why Earth was special, but now they faced an even bigger challenge. How could they protect their living planet and its inhabitants? Outside the lab, life went on. People continued their daily routines, unaware of the incredible discovery that had been made. But soon, very soon, everything would change. For the secret of Earth had been revealed, and with it, the true potential of humanity was about to be unleashed. The question was, were they ready for it? As night fell, Emily looked out the lab window at the starry sky. Somewhere out there, alien civilizations were waiting, perhaps watching. And here on Earth, a sleeping giant was about to awaken. The next chapter in Earth's history was about to begin, and it promised to be unlike anything they had ever imagined. The United Nations building in New York was surrounded by heavy security. Inside, world leaders from every country had gathered for what might be the most important meeting in human history. Dr. Emily Zhao stood at the podium, her heart racing. She had been chosen to present the findings of her team to the world's most powerful people. Ladies and gentlemen, she began, her voice steady despite her nerves. We have discovered why Earth is unique in the universe. Our planet is alive, and we are part of its life force. A murmur ran through the room. Some leaders looked skeptical, others amazed. Emily continued, explaining their discoveries about Earth's energy and how it connected to humanity. As she finished, the room erupted in discussion. The President of the United States stood up. If what you're saying is true, Dr. Zhao, we need to decide what to do with this information. And fast. The debate that followed was intense. Some leaders wanted to keep the discovery secret, fearing what might happen if other alien civilizations found out. Others argued for full disclosure, saying humanity had a right to know their true potential. We should focus on defense, the Russian president said. If aliens warn others away, they might come for Earth themselves. No, countered the president of Kenya. This is our chance to reach the stars. We should use this energy to advance our space program. As the arguments heated up, a young aide rushed into the room. "Excuse me," he said, his voice shaking. "We've detected multiple objects entering our solar system. They're headed for Earth." The room fell silent. Then chaos erupted. Leaders shouted over each other, some calling for immediate military action, others for attempts at communication. Amidst the noise, an unexpected voice cut through. It was the representative from a small island nation, usually overlooked in global politics. "Listen," she shouted, her voice surprisingly powerful. "We've been given a gift. Earth has trusted us with its power. We can't waste this opportunity fighting among ourselves or hiding in fear." Her words seemed to calm the room. The UN Secretary General nodded slowly. "She's right. We need to make a decision, not as individual nations, but as humanity." Over the next few hours, a plan began to take shape. It was ambitious, perhaps even crazy. But as dawn broke over New York, the leaders of the world emerged with a unified decision. They would go to space. Not just a few astronauts, but a massive effort involving every nation on Earth. They would pool their resources, their knowledge, and their newfound energy to reach for the stars. "We will not cower in fear," the UN Secretary General announced to the world. "We will not hide our light. Humanity will claim its place in the universe." The response around the globe was electric. People cheered in the streets. Scientists and engineers volunteered in droves. Even those who had been skeptical felt a surge of pride and excitement. Within days, the largest space program in history was underway. Every country contributed what they could. Old rivalries were set aside as humanity united towards a common goal. In launch sites around the world, new ships were being built. These weren't ordinary spacecraft. Powered by Earth's energy, they were capable of speeds that had once seemed impossible. Dr. Emily Zhao stood at one of these sites, watching a ship take form. Next to her, Raj looked up at the sky. "Do you think we're ready for what's out there?" he asked. Emily smiled. "I don't know," she said, "but I know we have to try. Earth has given us this gift. Now it's up to us to use it wisely." As night fell, millions of people around the world looked up at the stars. For the first time, those distant lights didn't seem so unreachable. Humanity was about to take its first real steps into the cosmic ocean. And somewhere out there, unknown alien eyes watched, waiting to see what these strange creatures from Earth would do next. The adventure was just beginning. The starship Hope hummed with energy as it prepared for its historic launch. This was humanity's first true interstellar vessel, built with technology that harnessed Earth's unique power. Captain Zara Chen stood on the bridge, her heart pounding with excitement and nerves. She looked at her diverse crew, the best from every nation on Earth. They were about to go where no human had gone before. "All systems are go, Captain," reported her first officer, Commander Alejandro Rivera. Zara nodded. "Then let's make history. Launch sequence begin." On Earth, billions watched as Hope lifted off. It didn't blast off like old rockets. Instead, it rose smoothly, surrounded by a soft blue glow. In moments, it was gone, faster than any ship before it. Inside, the crew felt barely a tremor. Earth's energy protected them, allowing them to travel at incredible speeds. "We've cleared the solar system," Alejandro announced after what seemed like only minutes. Zara smiled. "Set course for the edge of the galaxy. Let's see what's out there." Days passed as Hope zoomed through space. The crew worked, studied, and prepared for whatever they might encounter. Then, on the 10th day, alarms blared. "Captain," called out Dr. Yuki Tanaka from the science station, "we've detected a massive object ahead. It's a ship." The crew stared in awe at the view screen. A huge vessel hung in space before them, easily 100 times the size of Hope. "It's the Galactic Empire," whispered Zara. This was the moment they had prepared for, but nothing could truly ready them for first contact. Suddenly, a beam of light shot out from the alien ship, engulfing Hope, but instead of damage, they felt nothing. "It's a tractor beam," explained Chief Engineer Oluwaseun Okafor. "They're pulling us in." As they were drawn closer, Zara made a decision. "Open a channel," she ordered. "Let's introduce ourselves." To everyone's surprise, a response came almost immediately. A face appeared on the screen, almost human-like, but with silvery skin and large dark eyes. "Greetings, Earthlings," the alien said in perfect English. "I am Admiral Zix of the Galactic Empire. We've been expecting you." Zara stepped forward. "I am Captain Zora Chen of Earth. We come in peace, seeking knowledge and friendship." Admiral Zix tilted his head, looking curious. "You've come far, despite our warning. Your ship, it uses technology we've never seen. How is this possible?" Zara exchanged glances with her crew. Should they reveal Earth's secret? Before she could decide, Zix continued. "No matter. You will come aboard our ship. We have much to discuss." The next few hours were a whirlwind. The Hope's crew found themselves in a massive docking bay, surrounded by technology beyond their wildest dreams. As they were led through gleaming corridors, they saw aliens of all shapes and sizes. Some looked at the humans with curiosity, others with what seemed like fear. Finally, they reached a grand meeting room. Admiral Zix was waiting, along with other important-looking aliens. "We must admit," Zix said, "we are surprised. When we sent the warning, we didn't expect Earth to respond by coming to us." Zara stood tall. "Earth is our home. We wanted to understand why you warned others away from it." The aliens exchanged looks. Then, to everyone's shock, they bowed. "Brave Earthlings," Zix said, his voice filled with respect. "You have done what no other race has dared. You've unlocked the power of your living world and ventured into space." The humans listened in amazement as Zix explained. Earth wasn't just special. It was one of the rarest types of planets in the universe, a living world, capable of sharing its energy with its inhabitants. "We feared others might try to steal this power," Zix said. "But now we see. You are worthy of it." As the meeting continued, both sides shared knowledge and stories. The humans were amazed by the Galactic Empire's advanced technology, but the aliens were equally impressed by humanity's quick progress and bravery. By the time they returned to Hope, the crew was buzzing with excitement. They had made first contact, and it had gone better than they could have imagined. As Zora prepared to send a message back to Earth, she couldn't help but smile. This was just the beginning. Humanity had taken its first steps into a larger universe, and the future looked brighter than ever. But little did they know, their greatest challenges and triumphs were still to come. The starship Hope raced through space, leading a fleet of Earth and Galactic Empire ships. Captain Zora Chen stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the view screen. Ahead of them, a massive dark fleet loomed, threatening not just Earth, but the entire galaxy. "This is it," Zara said to her crew. "Everything we've learned, everything we are. It all comes down to this moment." The enemy, a race known as the Void Seekers, had come to steal Earth's power. They cared nothing for life, only for the energy they could drain from living worlds. As the two fleets clashed, space lit up with weapons fire. The Hope weaved through the battle, its Earth-given energy allowing it to move in ways that amazed even their Galactic Empire allies. On Earth, billions watched the battle through a connection established by the Empire. Dr. Emily Zhao stood in a control room, coordinating with scientists around the world. "We need to tap into Earth's power," she said. "Not just our ships, but all of us. Every human on the planet." Around the globe, people joined hands, focused their minds. They thought of their homes, their loved ones, the beauty of their living world. Slowly, a blue glow began to spread across the planet. In space, Zara felt a surge of energy. "What's happening?" she gasped. Commander Alejandro checked his readings. It's Earth. The whole planet is sending us power." With this boost, the Earth fleet began to push back the Void Seekers. But the enemy was vast, and victory still seemed far away. Then, Chief Engineer Olduasun had an idea. "Captain," he said, "I think I know how we can end this. But it's risky." Zara listened to his plan and nodded. "Do it," she ordered. Olduasun began to reroute the ship's systems, channeling the energy from Earth in a new way. The hope began to glow brighter and brighter. "All ships, fall back," Zora commanded. As their allies retreated, the Hope flew straight towards the heart of the enemy fleet. Just as they reached the enemy command ship, Olduasun activated his device. A massive pulse of energy burst from the Hope, washing over the Void Seeker ships. For a moment, everything seemed to stop. Then, one by one, the enemy ships began to power down. "It worked," Alejandro shouted. "We've disabled their tech." But the victory came at a cost. The Hope's systems were fried, leaving them drifting in space. As Zara and her crew worked to restore power, they saw something amazing. The disabled Void Seeker ships were being enveloped in a soft green glow. "It's the Empire ships," Yuki said from her science station. "They're healing the Void Seekers." The Emperor's voice came over the comm. "For too long, these lost souls have known only hunger and destruction. Today, we remind them of the power of life." Over the next few hours, as the Hope was towed back to Earth, Zara and her crew watched in awe. The former enemies were being transformed, their ships and even their bodies changing as they were filled with life energy. When they finally reached Earth, a hero's welcome awaited them. But the biggest surprise was yet to come. As Zara and her crew stepped onto Earth's soil, they felt a strange sensation. The ground seemed to pulse beneath their feet, and a warm energy flowed through them. "It's time," a voice said. They turned to see the Emperor approaching, a smile on his face. Before their eyes, the Earth began to glow. From the ground, figures of light emerged, the ancients, awakened at last. "Our children," one of the ancients said, its voice filled with pride. "You have done well. You have not only protected your home, but have shown the galaxy the true power of life and unity." The ancients explained that humanity's actions had completed a cycle begun eons ago. The energy of Earth, combined with the courage and compassion of its people, had not only saved the galaxy, but had rejuvenated the ancients themselves. Now, the ancients said, it is time for humanity to take its place as guardians of life in the universe. As the sun set on this incredible day, Zara looked out at the crowd of humans and aliens, all celebrating together. She saw not just the end of a battle, but the dawn of a new age. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged triumphant. They had discovered their true heritage, unlocked the power within themselves and their living world, and shown the galaxy that unity and compassion were the greatest forces of all. The adventure was far from over. In fact, it had only just begun. But whatever the universe had in store, Earth and humanity were ready to face it, together. Captain Zora Chen and her crew stood in awe as they entered the grand hall of the Galactic Empire's central planet. The room was filled with beings from 1,000 worlds, all gathered to meet the humans from Earth. At the far end, on a raised platform, sat the Emperor himself. He was tall and slender, with skin that shimmered like starlight. His eyes, deep and ancient, fixed on the humans with intense curiosity. "Welcome, children of Earth," the Emperor's voice echoed through the hall. "You have traveled far to seek answers. Now, it is time for you to learn the truth." The Emperor stood and waved his hand. The air shimmered, and suddenly the room was filled with holographic images of Earth and its history. "Your world," the Emperor began, "is not just special. It is sacred." The humans watched in amazement as the story unfolded before them. Earth, they learned, was once the home of an incredibly advanced civilization. These beings had mastered the art of planetary energy, turning their world into a living, breathing entity. They were our teachers, the Emperor said, his voice filled with reverence. They showed us the paths among the stars, taught us the ways of peace and science. We called them the Ancients. But then came the revelation that shook the humans to their core. You, the Emperor said, pointing at Zara and her crew, are their descendants. Gasps echoed through the hall. The humans looked at each other in disbelief. The Emperor continued, explaining how a great catastrophe had threatened to destroy the universe eons ago. The Ancients, in a final act of sacrifice, had used Earth's power to seal the rift, saving all of creation. But the cost was high, the Emperor said sadly. The effort drained them, forcing them into a deep slumber. They became one with the Earth, their memories and powers hidden away. The holographic images showed early humans emerging, growing, evolving, all under the watchful eyes of the Galactic Empire. We protected your world, the Emperor explained. We knew that one day you would awaken to your true nature. That day has come. Zara stepped forward, her mind reeling from these revelations. But why the warning? She asked. Why tell others to stay away? The Emperor's face grew grave. Because, brave captain, your awakening has put you in great danger. He waved his hand again, and a hologram showed dark ships lurking at the edges of the galaxy. There are those who would steal Earth's power, who would enslave humanity to use your gifts for their own ends. The hall fell silent as the weight of this threat sank in. But then, Chief Engineer Oluwasun spoke up. With all due respect, Your Majesty, he said, his voice strong. Humanity has faced threats before. We've overcome them all. Commander Alejandro nodded in agreement. We didn't come this far to back down now. The Emperor smiled, a look of pride on his face. And that, young ones, is why you are truly the children of the Ancients. Your courage, your determination. These are the gifts they left you, more powerful than any technology. He descended from his platform, approaching the humans. We will stand with you, he declared. Together, we will face this threat and secure a future for all life in the galaxy. Zora looked at her crew, seeing the mix of fear and determination on their faces. They had come seeking answers and found a destiny greater than they could have imagined. We accept, Zora said, her voice ringing through the hall. Earth will take its place among the stars, not just for ourselves, but for all life in the universe. Cheers erupted from the gathered aliens. The Emperor raised his hands for silence. Then let it be known, he announced. From this day forward, Earth and humanity are under the protection of the Galactic Empire. And more than that, they are our equals, our partners in safeguarding the cosmos. As the hall erupted in celebration, Zara and her crew felt the weight of their new roles settling upon them. They were no longer just explorers. They were the guardians of a legacy as old as the stars themselves. The truth had been revealed. Now, it was time to face the future, whatever it might bring.